Yeah, what's going on, people? It starts off every day, all the time. I gotta um, share the class, all that good little stuff, and make sure that it's posted everywhere. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm posting everything. Hope everybody's having a good evening. All that good little stuff. We're gonna get into it. Mm, yeah, almost done. Almost done sharing the class and the posts. All right, let's get into it. What up, people? So, previous classes we talked about getting ready to go on stage, what to do if you're thinking about doing comedy, um, and what happens the first time, right before you go on stage. So the stage we at right now in the class is talking about uh, what do you do after your first time on stage? What's the next step after you get on stage the first time? But don't forget, I'm here for all the questions. So if you got questions, shoot your questions. The whole nine. Tonight, I got a comic who inboxed me. He wants me to go over his set. He uploaded to YouTube, so we're gonna look at that, and then we're gonna give him some feedback. I'm gonna give him educated feedback, and I purposely did not watch it in advance. I want to watch it for the first time the same way y'all watching it because I wanted to be a an authentic response to his set, and so that's that right there. So if you got questions, I'm right here. So tell somebody that knows somebody who again wants to do stand up comedy right here every Monday 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we get it in. All right. So tonight, like I said, we're talking about after you perform for the first time. Now, when you perform for the first time, it could go a multitude of different ways. Excuse me. It can go. You could be that dude or that chick after your first time, or you can bomb horribly. Now, the most likely scenario is that you bomb horribly. Um, that's the most likely scenario. Um, But bombing is not that big of a deal, especially if it's your first time. Um, Shoot, bombing is not that big of a deal. Hell, if it's your 389th time, because it's comedy is a trial and error thing. So you if you doing open mic nights and you truly developing material, you're gonna have some bad nights. I just want to floss my Atlanta Falcons cup. Yeah, I don't care. I know they lost. It's all good though. We ride or die. So let's take it from a perspective of you did good. Let's do that first. Remember, you should always be recording your sets when you first start doing comedy. And you're doing open mics, you should always be recording yourself so you can see what you're doing. You can watch your body language. You can watch your nuances. You can start to learn yourself faster by seeing yourself, not the audio. Again, video. You want to video record yourself every single time you get on stage when you're starting out because you're still learning, um, and you want to know. So you want to be able to see yourself, and then again, like I said it before, one of the reasons, not just to learn yourself, but when you record yourself, you'll start to see you pick up on bad habits. You pick up on things that you like. Wow, I didn't know I said that. And or you can watch it and you may do a lot of times. I always point out terminology tags. What is a tag? So when you watch it, recording yourself, you might come up with new tags for a joke. What is a tag? A tag is a joke or a bit that you have done, and you think of something to add on to it. That is called a tag. So the add-on to it might be a different punchline. The add-on to it might be um, a new beginning. Oh, excuse me. The tag can be a many things, but a tag is when you add something to a joke that you're already doing. And you can add the tag. Sometimes comedians see you like, oh, it'd be funny if you said so and so after that. That's also a tag. We all do it. We help each other out. If you hear something that's funny and you go to them like, hey man, when you talk about your kids, if you bring up da 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 da, man, I think that'll take it next level. Man, you take it. Now, of course, you don't have to take everybody's advice. It's your own thing. But if somebody help you out with a tag, it don't really kill you to try it out. Because again, if comedy is trial and error, and you got to try out 5 different ways of doing a joke, and somebody gives you a way to do a joke, why wouldn't you at least try it? So knowledge say old tide. Yeah. It's been a long weekend. I was in Tampa for the weekend doing shows, and I had a super early flight this morning. So excuse my yawning. I am 100% wrong for that, even though I am tired. And knowledge, don't make me start cussing on this live. So that's that. So you that's another thing that you can get from having recorded yourself. You can get tags. Now, again, first perspective is if you do good, because that's the simple one. If you did good, you still probably are going to have some stuff that you could change or make better. It's always room for improvement. Excuse me. And I'm yawning like this because I'm talking. You start the lungs start to open up. See, that's another thing. If you do stand-up comedy right and you study the art, you actually also become a very knowledgeable public speaker. Um, and when you become and you learn nuances to track crowd control, you learn those types of little small things that help you with the craft. So that's it. So like one of the things that you'll start to see, like when you do stand up, just like when actors do these warm up exercises before they start acting, they warm up their mouths, and singers me, that type of stuff. Well, when you're a public speaker, one of the things is when you're talking, you have to learn how to control your breathing so you don't get out of breath when you're talking and stuff like that. Stand-up comic is the same way. You want to be able to breathe well, and if you're breathing just like me and you're a little tired, you kind of yawn. But nevertheless, so if you did good, you want to make sure that you expand on what you've done. Remember, your set is broken down typically in 3 to 5 minute sets, because that's typically how long you get on television. That's why stand-up comedy sets are structured from a 3 to 5 minute standpoint, and then they grow from there. So if you go on stage and you do good the very first time you're on stage, because we're taking this from a perspective of it being your first time on stage, and you do good, then what you want to see is if you can replicate that in a different location, because it might have been a fluke. And that's the thing about, because great comedy is consistent. Good comedy is consistent. You want to be able to be consistent no matter where you're at, no matter what you're doing. So, and you want that joke to be funny or that set to be funny, no matter what. So that's that piece of it. You want to be, whether it's in front of white people, black people, old people, young people, Asians, disabled, LGBT. You want the joke to be funny as front of as many people as possible. That's always the goal. So again, if your very first time you're good, don't get arrogant. Think I'm that dude. Oh, I'm the man. I told y'all I was funny, because you can go on stage the next night and bomb with that same material, because it is possible for you to catch lightning in a bottle. It is possible for you to just be funny because you were happen to be in front of the right crowd. It happened to be, everything fell in place. So don't necessarily take doing well your first time on stage as you have been ordained, because it happens. You have people who are horrible. I know comics who are terrible, or people who have been trying to do comedy and they are terrible. But every now and then they have a good set, because sometimes you can just be in an environment that is favorable to you being successful as a stand-up comedian. Rochelle, no, I'm not cussing. It's not gonna happen. So keep that in mind. So when you go on stage the first time, now let's take it from a perspective of you didn't do too good. You bombed. You took it in the face. And the thing about black people is if you perform for black people, they gonna let you know. Oh, buddy, they gonna let you know. And it could be as simple as just a boo. It could be as devastating as somebody screaming out, "Get off stage, kill yourself," because that's what we do. We can be very vocal without displeasure of your stand-up performance. So if you had a if you had a bad set, now what you need to do is figure out why was it bad? What did you do wrong? And that is going to be way easier if you did what? Record yourself. So now you can see it. One of the things you have to always be aware of when doing stand-up in the beginning, when you learn how to do it, is how to pay attention. It's a special skill set of a stand-up comic to be able to talk and think at the same time. It's very difficult because sometimes if when you first learn how to do it, you'll get caught up. And so that's why it's very important. Another reason why it's very important to record yourself so you can watch yourself, because you are not necessarily able to think while you're on stage. And when I say think, stand-up comedians who've been doing it for a while are literally able to be talking and at the same time in their head be deciding what joke they're going to do next, and literally be going through their Rolodex while they're talking. They can actually be going through a Rolodex of jokes in their head. And that, again, that's an acquired skill set. That's not something you're able to do from the beginning. Most people just have, when they start out, they have what they want to talk about, and they want to get that out as quick as possible before they take that L. But that is not that is not how we do it. We stand-up comics, veterans, or comics who's been doing it for a little period of time, who've started to develop that ability. That's what you do, because you want to be able to pivot if need be. Queen, if I'm with Queen, is the comedian. I tell you, I told her you were going to show it. Okay. Send me, can you send that to me through through Facebook inbox, something like that? Because if you send it to me there, it's gonna be easier for me to play it, because I already got the first comics pulled up. And I want to be able to pull it up. It's just gonna make it easier, because then I can just get click on the link and keep it moving. And because you send it to me on IG, and on IG it's hard to transfer IG over to here doing what I do. So send it to me, inbox me on Facebook, or email it me the clip, whatever. That way I can do it. So yeah, I have no problem in doing it. I got it. So know that. Now, if you've had this bad set, so now you record it. Now you want to see what you did wrong and what can you improve on. As you're watching the video, you have to be crowd aware, and that's where it comes in, being able to listen while you're talking. A lot of times when your first time on stage, your first couple of times on stage, you aren't really paying attention to what's going on around you. You aren't paying attention to the crowd response. I've literally seen comics go on stage, perform, new comics go on stage, perform, and be like, "Man, I killed it." Like, who? What? Huh? Were you listening to the same thing we just watched? Because you bombed, homie. You bombed. But in their head, because they didn't listen to crowd response. And then if they were listening to crowd response, they only heard the highs. They didn't pay attention to the lows. You had way more lows than you had highs. And it's just like regular old math on the balance sheet. If you got way more lows than laughs, then you lost. It's just that simple. If you got way more lows in your set than you do laughter, that's not a win. The pace of your set should be of such to where there's a joke roughly every 35 seconds, roughly. Not major punchlines, but minor punchlines, because you have major punchlines and minor punchlines. So that's that piece of it. So you definitely want to get those things done, and you want to watch your set and make sure you can get them done. So what I'm gonna do now is if you got questions, ask me your questions. Because what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to pull up the set of this comedian and then we're gonna watch it. And as we watch it, we're gonna watch the whole thing. Then I'm gonna give some feedback to it, give some constructive criticism if it is. And again, I haven't watched it, and I didn't watch it on purpose because I want to watch it fresh with you guys, and I want to have a real-time response to this set. Now, let me say this: I'm not here to necessarily judge you're funny or you're not funny, because you have comics who are funny, but they may not necessarily be somebody's cup of tea. I know comedians who I'm like, oh, he or she's funny. Now they ain't they ain't the type of comedy I like. But that don't mean that somebody else don't like them. So what I'm just want to help you with is the technical aspects of it. And we'll help you hone it down a little bit faster. So that's what I'm looking to do for you. So let me get this together. Get this together. So yeah, so while I'm pulling this up, does anybody have any questions while I pull this up? Any questions while I pull this up? All right. Well, here we go. Got it now, pal. All right. Let's get her done. This is his set. So we're going to check this out. And we're going to get it in. Let me see. HB the Great. What would you tell a starring comedian that doesn't have the ability to talk and think? The thing that you do in the beginning, you don't have enough material to be talking and thinking and going through like that. So your thing should be just getting through the material that you're trying to work on. Go back and watch the other episode where I talk about preparing to get on stage before you ever get on stage, how you start to formulate material, what to talk, how you decide what to talk about out right there. I go over that, I think, in part 2. So check that out. But the biggest thing is in the beginning, you don't have to talk and think. That shouldn't even necessarily be your goal in the beginning, because you don't have mountains of content to be plowing through while you're on stage. So that's not a skill set you even need at that stage. So that's what I would tell. Vibing with the Queen. How long have you been doing stand-up comedy? I started doing stand-up comedy in 95. That's how long I've been doing stand-up comedy. I not only am I old as hell, I've been doing comedy a long time. So that's that. So let's get this in, and here we go. So that's that. Let me see. So let's get this in, and here we go. Let me hit the play on this. So here we go. Let me know if you guys can hear this.
What's up, Joe? What's up? Can I get a oh yeah?
Oh yeah!
Oh yeah, there we go. We got some engagement. There we go. Hey man, so When I was younger, man, I wanted to be a drug dealer so bad. Bad, like bad. It was very adamant, man. Like my brother was a drug dealer. And he made me want to be like him, man. He used to have all the cars and everything, man. I was just like, man, that's the only way I want my income. But then he got locked up. Fuck that. But I was still adamant about being a drug dealer. So I applied to CBS. I figured I had to sell my drugs legit. You know what I'm saying? You get a receipt for my drugs, and if it don't work, you can take the shit back. And you can file on your taxes if you want to. Then I grew up. I had fucking kids, man. I had kids, and it's crazy because when I had these kids, I didn't know they was gonna cause that much damage. Anybody got kids? Anybody got kids?
Yes, sir.
Kids? Sir. Yeah. So my thing is, man, every time I try to go to fucking Pound Town, I get stopped at, can I get a snack street? They always knocking on the fucking door. First time this shit happened, right? Well, I tell you, first time it happened, I remember like it was yesterday. So, me and my old lady, we getting it in. I'm tearing her ass up. I'm talking about, man, I'm tearing her ass up. We talking nasty like she talk, you know what I'm saying? Like I talk, baby, put that dick in. I'm like, it's already in. She was like, baby, it's in my stomach. I'm like, oh, hell yeah, I'm in there now. So then, I heard, can I get a snack? Now, they didn't knock on the door. That's what fucked me up. I thought it was her. I was like, that's what you think this is, shift work? You think you about to get a lunch break or some shit? What the fuck is this? You know what I'm saying? I got offended. I was like, oh, hell no. She was like, nah, babe, it's the kids. Fuck them kids. I'm gonna get this nut. God damn it. And then, after that, my kids, man, they cause so much trouble. You ever have like, all right, let me tell you this story. So, I got 3 kids. I got one girl, she's the oldest, and I got 2 boys. I got a boy that's 6, I got a boy that's 5. You know how you in the living room, you having conversations with your woman, and she always want to have this conversation when the football game on, but you don't really want to have this conversation. But that's when she chose to have this conversation. So we having a conversation, and I hear her, but I hear other shit in the other room. Okay? So I hear her, but I hear other shit in the other room. So she's like, yeah, babe, I think we should go to the beach this weekend. And I'm like, yeah, babe, just book it. All of a sudden, I hear my oldest son trying to teach my youngest son how to sing a nursery rhyme. Okay, cool. That's cool. It was like, anybody know Jack B. Nimble? Everybody know Jack B. Nimble? All right, so we trying to teach him how to sing this nursery rhyme. All of a sudden, it was like, Jack B. Nimble, Jack B. Quick. Jack bust out with a 40-round clip. Chopper's in the closet and the stencils on his hip. It's gonna be a long day if you think you're making it out of here. I said, well, goddamn, what Jack you goddamn know? You know what I'm saying? Like, the Jack I knew, that motherfucker, you cranked the goddamn box up and you jumped out of it. I ain't know no goddamn Jack like that. So, I said, well, damn.
All right, now I stopped there because I've seen enough to help you. All right. First, what I want you to do is I want you to stop moving around on stage so much. One I can tell you nervous. It is very obvious that you're nervous. No big deal. You knew. So okay. So what? So moving around is one of those things that new comics tend to do because you're trying to deflect the attention that you're getting because everybody's watching you on stage. So the moving around tends to do that. So you move around. Thing number 2 I want you to do is stop turning your back to the audience. You can't connect to an audience that you're turning your back to. How are you You facing, instead of facing them and connecting to them, you're turning your back to them. So stop turning your back to them. See, that's one of those things I've talked about. Well, recording yourself shows you turned your back to the audience numerous times. Not only did you turn your back to them, there's several minutes within this where you literally have your back to the audience and you're talking with your back facing the audience and you're looking at the floor. You can't connect to the audience if you're not looking at the audience. So remember that. I like the fact that you are talking about yourself. You're talking about stuff that is personal to you. You're talking about your kids. You're talking about your girl and stuff like that. Those are personal things. Personal things tend to be unique, and they tend to be things that you don't have to worry about anybody taking from you. You don't have to worry about being like anyone else, because your story is unique to you. So that's definitely a great thing, the fact that you are doing that. Another thing, remember I said 3 to 5 minutes. You typically get 3 to 5 minutes on stage. Now the clip you sent me is roughly 6 minutes long, but it's like at times it looks like you're searching for the next thing to talk about. You don't have to search for the next thing to talk about. Again, just because you have 5 minutes don't mean you got to do 5 minutes. It's about quality over quantity. So you don't necessarily have to do 5 minutes, but you would rather do a blazing 3 and get off stage than do a blazing 2 and an okay 3, because that brings down the 2 minutes of fire. So it looks like a couple of times you're searching, and that's fine. That tends to happen when you don't necessarily know where you want to go. And remember, I talked about the thinking and talking at the same time. That's why it's a skill set, because when you're trying to do it and you're not accustomed to do it, you look like you're thinking. You look like you're lost, because now people can see you thinking while you're doing it. So that's one of those things why you have to be you have to be on your P's and Q's. You have to do that. Again, though, I like the fact that you talked about yourself, and I liked about the fact that that was the material that you did. So the things that I would say work on is stop turning your back to the audience. Stop moving around so much. Just stand there and talk. Just stand there and talk. Okay, he says, I rehearse at home and I get on stage, tends to go blank. It's exactly, one of the reasons why, what makes your mind go blank when you're on stage, when you're overthinking it. You're overthinking it. You're trying to do too much. If you know what to make it easier, if you pick one thing and you want to spend your whole 3 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever talking about that one thing, whatever that thing is. So if it's going to be about your kids and you trying to get some while the kids are there, make the whole 3 minutes about that. Then that'll help you, because now you don't have to try to remember what's next. See what I'm saying? You don't have to think about, oh dang, I want to talk about my mama and where she work at too. That's one of those things that make you, because now you got to think, because again, when your mind goes blank, you forget for a hot second what the next thing is supposed to be or what you want the next thing to be. But if you're only talking about one thing, you don't have to do that. So that's one of those things that you can do to take that pressure off you of having to remember or trying to overthink, or when you do go blank, you don't have to do that. So so that's it. So again, don't move around so much. Stand there, relax, do the material. Don't turn your back to the audience. You want to connect to them. You can't connect if you're not looking at them and you got your back to them. You cannot. You're never going to connect. Another thing is there are times where you're looking for the audience to give you the energy and the feedback. Sometimes that's going to happen and sometimes it's not going to happen. You can't always depend on that. So you have to be prepared to bring your own energy to the stage. You can't depend on the relationship between the audience and the stand-up comedian is a dysfunctional relationship. It's dysfunctional. Sometimes they're gonna do their part, and sometimes they're not gonna do their part. And since they're not going to do their part, sometimes you have to walk on stage totally prepared for them not to do their part. And when I say not doing their part, it's not laughing, because if you do your part, if you do what you're supposed to do, be funny, then laughter is going to happen automatically. So I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is giving you the energy. Because they didn't come there to give you energy. They came there to laugh. Not necessarily feed you energy so you can feed off them and then you can give it back to them. That's how you would like for it to work. That's how you hope it works. But you can't depend on that, because audiences, they don't always show up to do their part. So don't ever depend on, so comics never depend on the audience to give you the energy. You should be able to have the same energy in a club, whether there's 2 people or 2,000 people. You should bring that same energy. Now, one of my pet peeves for new comics in a crowd, or not even new comics, for comedians, period. If you show up, and sometimes at open mics, the crowd is thin. One of my pet peeves is you get on stage and it's like 10 people there, and you harp on the fact that it's 10 people there. So what? So these 10 people, they there. They don't deserve the show. They don't deserve to laugh. It's not their fault that the rest of the people didn't show up. So why would you shortchange them? So I hate when comics harp on the fact that there's nobody there. Do your show. Stop talking. They know ain't nobody there. They know it's only 10 people there. Why you keep saying it? All you doing is you point out the obvious, and you making them feel even more uncomfortable about the fact that there's only 10 people there. So don't harp on that. You go on stage, you go to do a job. Go on stage and do that job, regardless of how many people are out there. I remember the first time I auditioned for Last Comic Standing. You know what the audition was? It was 2 old white men sitting at a table in the comedy club in the middle of the day. You would walk on stage, and you would do your set in front of these 2 old white men. With no crowd to feed off of, with no energy. That's how it was. I did another audition for Robert Townsend. Walked in, it was Robert Townsend and a table and 2 producers who were working on the movie. And they say, "Yeah, give us your funniest 5 minutes, your funniest 3 minutes." Well, no crowd there. See what I'm saying? So you have to be prepared for those types of moments. And being on stage in those type of situations prepare you for those types of moments. So you definitely have to be ready for that. All right, so we got another one. Now let's send me to it. That is what I am talking about, my friend. I'm copying it. Let me get it. Let me get it. I'm getting it put over here to the white meat. To the white meat. Getting her pulled up. All right. So this is another one. Her name's Shannon the Queen. All right. So we're gonna check out Shannon the Queen and see what she got going on. And then I'm gonna give you some feedback there, Shannon. Here we go.
You got in that cigar. You must got something else up in there. Nobody cares about Father's Day. That's why nobody even know the fucking day. It's a fucked up ass holiday, dude. See a breast, grab a breast, come down to the courthouse and say 50% off your child support. That's a fucking holiday. That's just me and Maya on this shit. That's just. Town. Y'all get up for my girl, Shannon the Queen. Hey, you top notch. Let me hear you holler.
Okay, while that's buffering, let's see if it'll start back. But we'll get her in. Video is buffering. Let's see if it'll go back. Any questions? HB the Great. Did that help you out? Did the feedback that I gave you for your set, is it helpful? You got you think, did it give you some perspective? Did you ever notice that you were turning your back to the audience? Did you notice that you were looking at the floor while you were performing? So let me know. While we see if I can get this video to play again. Trying to see. Just want to get her in. Trying to see. All right, I think it's. Okay, there we go. It just don't want you to be great. It just don't want you to be great, Shannon. I don't want you to be great. I don't know why, but it don't want you to be great. So we'll see. So hopefully it'll start. All right, there we go.
I almost blew my back out trying to bend it over in this motherfucking shit. Do my ladies run this motherfucker? Where my sugar daddies at, though? Y'all niggas sound dry as a motherfucker, right? You got all the hoes tonight. There's only 3 of y'all niggas in this motherfucking shit. You better be stacked up on the blue pills, cause it's old, nigga. Y'all know these old sugar daddies, they be tricking us and shit. They be popping them motherfucking pills. Y'all know the fuck pills I'm talking about, the fuck pills. The fuck pills that make it last forever and ever. I came across a sugar daddy before and shit. I thought it was me the why he couldn't nut. That nigga was popping them goddamn pills before he came over. I said, nigga, you tricked me. He really tricked me though when he took his sugar daddy hat off, bitch. His hairline came off with his hat. I said that motherfucker faded away and shit. That nigga hairline did a crossover, bitch. I said he ain't shit, nigga. The nigga left his whole hairline on my pillowcase. I said, oh, you can let your social security number on my pillowcase? What the fuck? I got your whole DNA in this motherfucker. Shit, give it up for the sugar daddies, y'all. Give it up. Hell to the yes, man. Sugar daddies is cool as a motherfucker. I'm just telling you. Ladies, get to know these guys before you just let them move into your house, okay? Get to know him. I was fucking around with a guy, his tooth was loose and shit. I bought the nigga a screwdriver and shit. Nigga, your grill fucked up. Screw this shit up. You need a wrench. You need a ratchet. One of them things going straighten your teeth up. Goddamn. Hell yeah, I didn't get to know him and shit. I walked in, I don't know why he was brushing his teeth. His tooth was on the counter. I was like, my nigga. I thought it was the TikTok bubble mint, some shit. I don't know. He's talking about, you supposed to knock before you come in. Nigga, it's my house. The fuck? Now you and your tooth gotta go. You should have told me about that tooth that could come out and go back in. I'm just saying, shit. Where my California at? Make some noise. Hell yeah, y'all out here in Las Vegas. Where my Chicago? Oh, they ain't in this motherfucker tonight. All right, where y'all from over here? California. Where the Las Vegas at? Make some noise. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. I am Vegas all the way, y'all. I'm telling y'all,
It's hot as fuck out here. Woo! When I tell y'all it's hot as fuck out here, don't be one of them females walking around here and shit and don't got no coochie spray. Some of y'all looking at me like, what's coochie spray, bitch? FDS. Stop walking past it at Walmart. Pick it up, honey. You don't want to be that female that get in the car and your whole body scent smell like a whole crawfish. No, look. You don't want that shit, right? Shit. I see some of y'all sugar daddies laughing at that shit. Don't laugh at that. Shit, because some of y'all be sweaty as a motherfucker. You know that inner thigh, that left nut that just be stuck right there and shit. Yeah, we know when y'all trying to remove that motherfucker. Just peel it off your inner thigh. Just peel it off, nigga. We know. We grown. We ain't gonna judge you. I'm just saying, I'll buy you some Johnson baby powder, my nigga. I can fix that for you, is all I'm saying. Shit. And it feels good, though, man. It feels good to be back on stage, especially throughout that pandemic, right? Don't it feel good to be outside, y'all? For real. This is straight hot girl summer. Y'all better hide your mans. Hide the mans. I'm telling you. You see, ain't none of them out. Y'all smart. You got your nigga out. You know, shit. He might get snatched tonight, bitch, while you laughing. All eyes are in. He look good. Shit. Lick your lips one more time, baby, and watch what's gonna happen. Don't play with me.
All right. Okay. So I watched enough to help. Now I took notes. So was this a Shannon, our knowledge, is she in here? Because I got a couple of questions, and it's gonna help me clarify, helping her out. Was this a set or was this open mic? What was she doing? Because I'm asking that, trying to know the goal and the intent of the set. Is this set I'm throwing out new material? Is the set, this is my set? Okay, vibing with the queen. I was like, so was that open mic or was that you doing a 5-minute set? Because I don't, since I'm not familiar with your set, so, and I'm asking so I'll know. And I don't no assumptions whatsoever. So answer that for me. But while you're doing that, one thing I want to say is, okay. So how long have you been doing comedy, Shannon? What's your time frame? So very high energy, which is always good. Well, you can always bring your own energy. That's definitely always a good thing. So how long have you been doing comedy? What's your goal? Where are you trying to go with it? What's your goal? And while you answer those questions for me, while you answer those two questions for me, let me say this. The thing that you didn't do is, I know nothing about you. I know nothing about you from your set that I said. That's all you. Again, when the last comedian said, we was talking about him talking about personal stuff to him, and making a connection with the audience. You can't connect unless the audience gets to know you. Now, and that can be happening in two different ways. Either that's personal information or through profound statements. And what I mean by profound statements, where you take definitive stance on certain things. That's what comics do. We take a stance on stuff, and we take that stance and we make that stance funny on whatever that is. Again, everybody ain't got to agree with it, because you're not looking for agreement. You're looking to take it. Let's say we talk about politics. You make it definitive that you are a conservative, and everything you're getting ready to say and all your jokes are going to be from a conservative perspective. So when I leave your show, whether I liked you or didn't, the one thing I know about you is that he or she is a conservative. See, so I learned something about you. So a year from now, I'm booking a show for a room full of Republicans, your name pops up and you pop up in my head because I know that you are conservative because I learned that from your show. And I know your show, automatically know your show, and your perspective is going to fit in that show with those Republicans because you let me know without necessarily, saying I'm a conservative. What I mean, so you let me know throughout your set that you're conservative. So that's what I mean when I say you taking a stance. So I either need to know some stuff about you, or I have kids. I've been married. I'm not married. I'm a hypochondriac. Whatever that is. So that's that piece of it. So keep that in mind. So says that so it was a 10-minute set, and you want to be in movies, big major stadiums is my goal. So what I need for you to do is I need you to watch your set. And as you watch your set, you have to ask yourself, does this set transfer over to all crowds? That's what you have to, because if that's your goal, then your set has to be able to transfer over. And transfer over, not to white people, it has to be as close to being universally accepted as possible, if that's your goal. Now, can you, the more your set is specialized, the longer your journey is. Every comic with every type of set can make it to the level you're looking for. But you just have to keep in mind, the less universally acceptable your set is, the longer your journey. So just keep that in mind. So for example, if you have a set that is very strong black, a lot of black content, you're talking about stuff that if you're not black, you're really not going to get, then you have pigeonholed yourself. Now, can you not get to that? You sure the hell still can. You still can get to that level, but you have shrunk your audience. See what I'm saying? So that's why I say, so you have to ask yourself, does your set translate that way? And if it doesn't, then you have to retool your set. And I'm not going to, again, because I'm not here to tell you what to do with your set right there, but that's the question you need to ask yourself. And that's what your goal and your intent. So your set has to have an intent. Somebody once told me that in the entertainment industry, you need, if nothing else, what you have to know is you know how you began. So what you definitely need to know is where you want to end. What's your end game? Every entertainer should know his or her end game. Because once you know where you want to go, then you can start to be intentional in your moves. And if your goal is to be in movies, anything that you do that is not moving in that direction, then you're doing yourself a disservice in your set. If you're going to get to the place with the movies and the major stadiums and all of that, if that's where your goal is, anything that you do that does not move you in that direction, you are hurting you. So look at your set and ask yourself, is your set doing that? And if it's not, then now you have to retool it. One of the things that comics tend to start doing, comics who've been doing it, not necessarily for a while, but who have some time up under their belt, and you start to get like that initial funny 10 minutes or whatever, you get scared. What happened is you lock into that 10 minutes because you're scared to go back to failing. But doing stand-up comedy is, remember, it's trial and error. So if you're afraid to fail, then you're never going to continue to grow as a stand-up comedian. So you have to be willing to fail. You have to be willing to take some risks. You got to be willing to take some chances while on stage. Do I have a comedy room for comedians? Yeah, I do. I host multiple rooms here in Atlanta throughout the week. So if you here and you come to Atlanta, by all means, reach out to me. We'll get you some stage time. That's the easy part. So that's my thing. So Shannon, ask yourself about about your set, and you make that determination whether you figure it transfers over, it doesn't transfer over. And again, we're not talking about going to white people. That's not what we're talking about. Again, being universally accepted. Can you make it without being universally accepted? Yes, you can. Corey Oakland, like somebody's on here now, said they were at my show. I was with Corey this weekend. Appreciate you coming out. Hopefully you had a good time. And one of the things, Corey is not necessarily universally accepted. Corey is a polarizing comic. You know what I'm saying? He's an acquired taste. But the people that roll with Corey, they roll with Corey hardcore. And they his people. And they gonna go wherever he take them. They with him. So, and we know Corey sell tickets, he move units. So you definitely can do it. So you definitely can still do it without doing it. But just know, the same way I use Corey as an example, there are people who are at Corey's show who leave Corey's show like, man, I ain't no. It's women who leave Corey's show in their feelings. And they hate Corey. So are you willing to alienate a large portion of your potential audience? And again, if you're willing to do that, so be it. That's why I notice, again, I'm not telling you what to do or what not to do, or what direction to go into or what direction not to go into. Only you can make that decision. But just know, if you make that decision, your workload is going to be harder. And if you're willing to put in that work, ride out. And the last thing, Shannon, no crowd work. If you're a comic and you're working on a set, I say minimize the crowd work. The crowd work is, so where's everybody from? So is Miami in the building? No, that's called crowd work. You want to minimize crowd work. The newer you are, the less crowd work, because you want content. You can always do crowd work. That's never going anywhere. That ain't going nowhere. It's always going to be crowd out there. There's always going to be people to talk to. You can do that anytime. But when you got 10 minutes, you want to give these people 10 minutes of you, not 10 minutes of them. 10 minutes of them is you talking to them. You want to have material. You want to hit them with this content. You want to hit them with these jokes. You want to show them your creativity. You want to hit them with all of that in your 10 minutes or your 5 minutes, however much time you have. Because when you do crowd work, basically what you have done, you have chosen to share the stage with other people. In the beginning, you want to be as selfish as possible. You want all the attention on you. You want everything to be about you. You don't want to give them people none of your time, none of your attention. Because if you start talking to John Doe in the front row, then you know what's going to happen when people leave. They're going to talk about the fact that I remember she was talking to John Doe in the front. Who? The chick that was on stage? But no, the dude who had on the yellow shirt, she was talking about him. It said all they're going to remember is the dude you talked about in the yellow shirt. They're not going to remember you and remember your name. They're going to just say the chick or the dude or the comic was talking about the dude in the yellow shirt or whatever. That's how jacked up the psyche is of audiences. So you have to keep that in perspective. Keep that in perspective. I performed in front of all races, all crowd. I performed in front of 2 people. Hey, we all had. So that's it. So again, and I'm not saying, that's why I say only you can determine whether or not your set is universal. Does it transfer over to all audiences? Only you know that. And all audiences, have you left your city? That's another measure. You have to leave your city. You have to be able to leave your city. Does your set travel? If your set doesn't travel, then you're not ready yet. And the only way you're gonna learn if your set travels or not, you got to take it outside of your city. Because you will reach a level of comfort in your city if you've been doing comedy only in your city, because you start to learn the nuances of your city. You learn the little local stuff that make people laugh. And if you're in the same club every week, you start to learn what makes that club laugh. And so now you walk around thinking you that dude or you that chick because you killing this one room. But killing one room don't make you funny. So just keep that. So just keep that in mind. All right. So we've been on here for about an hour. Get ready to get up out of here. Anybody got any more questions before we get up out of here? So Shannon, hit me up. Let me know when you in the A, and we got you. Cool. That's great. I thought crowd work was the way to connect to the audience better. No, it's really not. Is you're actually wasting time. So that's the reality of it. And it's something that all comics do it, new and veteran comics. So don't get me wrong, all comics do it. But again, if you're trying to establish yourself, you don't want to waste stage time by talking to the audience because you're not working on material. Everything's built around material. Nobody's going to give you a TV show, a sitcom, or put you in a movie based upon you talking to the crowd. Remember that. Nobody's going to put you in a movie because you go back and forth with a crowd well. They put you in movies and on TV shows and give you your own sitcom based upon your content. Seinfeld was based upon the Seinfeld content. The Bernie Mac show was based upon the Bernie Mac content. Not his banter back and forth with crowds. So if you getting the opportunity is going to be based upon your content, why would you do anything that's counter to that? So just keep that in mind. Again, people, Hollywood and the industry buys into characters, personality, and all of those things are established by your content. And you're not going to establish content talking to the crowd. So just keep that in mind. No problem. That's what we're here for. No, that's what I'm here for. And to give you the thing. To be going to be on the Netflix special. Okay, do your thing. Without a doubt. So again, I'm not specifically saying this to you guys, Shannon, in knowledge. I'm saying this to say to everybody. Remember, I'm talking to you, but I'm also speaking for people who may be in the same situation as Shannon and want the feedback and need the advice. So I'm speaking to her, but I'm more speaking in the generality standpoint. So ask yourself those questions, and then if those things work, then you work. And again, because what I want to always try to do anytime, in these classes and these sessions, I never want to tell you what to do, because I've said this a million times and I will constantly say this. My word isn't law. What I'm here to do is, I'm not the oracle. What I'm here to do, I'm trying to help you minimize the deviations that you necessarily have to go through. Like I said, the fastest way from point A to point B is a straight line. But does that mean you can't go up and down and still get to point B? You sure can. So your journey might be this: straight, up, down, straight. You can make that decision and that determination. I can't make that for you. You can. Again, I'm just trying to show you the point A to point B straight line route. That's it. That's all I'm trying to show you. All right. That being said, appreciate everybody tuning in, checking everything out, and kicking it with me. We'll be back next Monday, same bat time, same bat channel, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tell any new comic, come get these diamonds. We dropping these jewels off. Dropping them off.